There, recording started. No, Ricardo, you don't need to. Well, right now. I'm talking about the most recent tutorial video. However, this week is also about the week before's video. So if you have any questions at all, then the tutorial is for you. If you don't have questions, then no, you don't really need to be here. If you're doing if you've done all this stuff and you don't have questions, and no, there's really no need to be at the tutorials. But that's assuming you don't have any questions, and I'm hoping everyone here has already looked at the assignment, has already started it. Looking at all of you, has already started the assignment. Yeah, that's what pointer is. Yeah. For the future videos, I'm planning on zooming in more. I forgot for this week. That was on me. I just wasn't thinking. See, Isaac, that's exactly that. See, that was the point. So you've designed a few good puzzles, which was meant to be last week, and then adding triggers in for them and making them functional is this week. And then next week is going to be adding more depth to the puzzle with different shapes. So now you can have different shapes to use. Because I am aiming for next week to be about creating polygons and different polygons than boxes and rectangles. And as well as um what's it called, creating as well as I'm going to attempt to write an algorithm to resize them properly. I hope that Box2D lets me do it the way that I'm thinking. I haven't tested it yet, so I'm gonna test it before the video. Cause for the past few weeks I've been implementing brand new stuff. You can resize circular bodies. You can't resize box bodies because box bodies use points, and the way that works is you can't resize it. Well, the way that it currently works in there. So I'm gonna try. And see if I can change the points using resizing, or if I can get the points, resize the points, using the center as a pivot point, and then give the points back and have it change. Well, Ricardo, you just do the same. You'll have to there's no way to make it exact. Not really. There's no that's math that you'll have to figure out for yourself. That's it's relatively simple math. It's just ratio math. It's like fractions basically. So you need to do for the beach ball being really fast. You wouldn't. That's not when it goes. Are you talking kind of? Are you talking about when it goes down the hill? That it gets really fast? Because mine speeds up too. Just when you hit it. That's because your refresh rate on your monitor. That's not an issue that you can really fix right now. You could theoretically increase the friction. not really an issue per se, though. Dang it. For the ball? The tutorial gravity is actually it's probably not high enough. Because even then I'm making it so the player has like 2 times that. What if you run this one? Like, for example, where's Link? Where's Link? Link has 2 times. Link has negative 1600. Yeah. Well, no, that's downward velocity. The acceleration stays the same, though. I guess you're right that that would affect the effectiveness of gravity. Oh, you're right. Wait 1 second. Yeah, I was just about to do that. That's just what I thought of. I wasn't even thinking about that. But you're absolutely right that that would in fact affect the speed at which you fall. But yeah, the ball isn't that big. Or isn't that fast on here. 1 second, I'm actually wait, is it Vic2? There you go. Interesting. Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, except when I push up, it now sends you into space. Oh shit. Now you stay on the platform. Okay, I like that. No matter how fast you're going. Oh, there's no it's not being recorded in the traditional sense. No, it's not being recorded using Kaltura. It's being recorded using OBS because Kaltura is just bad. Well, I need to do more testing, but probably Ricardo. Yeah, that was helpful. I wasn't even thinking about that being a thing until you made that comment. The issue is there's no friction on this. This ramp really needs some friction. Where's the ramp? That's just, oh, here. Are you talking about that there's still an exception? That means you didn't follow everything in the video. Because there was a whole big thing that I made about the fact that the reason why there's an exception is because this is triggering multiple times when you enter it. So you have to add this triggered if statement, which is at the end of the video. And if you don't have this, then it's going to continue to trigger every single time you enter it, which means it's going to attempt to delete the entity that exists at that place over and over and over and over again. Let's see if this works. Nope. Did not help. What about... Let's try an unorthodox number. Trying to make it so you don't slide down this. He's still sliding. Can't make it too high or else you won't move. Honestly, I kind of like that. I do not know why it does that. Oh, you're flying off the edge and it keeps dropping you back down when you're holding shift. Oh, by the way, this is me holding shift. It's trying to pull me off the edge. So that's causing frame rate to tank and definitely something to keep in mind. .5. Hey, see, that's nice. Oh, that's smooth. Nope. You cannot move into space. Nothing really, Aiden. It was all recorded. Look at this, though. It's smooth. And you don't slide down. I like. Note to self, 3.5 is good. So you wouldn't be able to jump with that in there. I know if I were to go, I'm gonna go down here and let's try to create a nice jump now that we have working physics properly. Might as well. This is all being recorded, so player get body apply. P2 1,000 is not enough. Add a few more zeros. Oh, and the friction's too. Oh yeah. Another thing using triggers that you could do is you can create an allow jump trigger. So you can create a trigger that tells you, hey, or even actually we have the contact listener. Why didn't we just here? Let's show something cool. So you know how everyone had issues with like creating a jump that like doesn't let you jump in midair without a timer? Well, if you pay attention to this, and we don't care if they're sensors. So if fixture a dot filter or here b2 filter data or filter a equals get filter data b2 filter now that we have both filters, so we do if filter a dot category equals player and filter b dot category equals environment, because the environment is the ground we walk on. So if he contacts with an environment object, and technically you could actually create an entire subset just called ground, which would actually work better than what we have here. But like, so then we can put this in brackets because we actually have a different combination that we need to write. We just need to swap this around, so we can copy this and then do or, and then it's filter b dot category bits and filter a. So basically this just checks, hey, is it the player and the environment colliding? You can do like so if filter a dot category equals player. So now we're checking if the specific one is the player. Else if filter b dot category bits. This isn't exactly good code, but it's not like horrible. But now we're just checking if this is the player. So if this is the player, so then we can grab fixture a dot body dot user data, cast that as an int, and we can basically like set it up so that this thing, or in order to jump, the player needs to be told that he can jump again. Like, why don't we just create a new trigger? You don't even need any sensors, just something that will let, like, hey, the player can jump now. How would I? I'm trying to think about, like, because in this one we don't have the player body on here. If we had the player, I would just go into player and add in a can jump bool, basically. But player isn't on this guy yet. So for right now, we can just create a. We can create this is like, you know, this is just for this. So like can jump. Yes. See, I zoomed in. There we go. My apologies. I keep forgetting to zoom in. I'm honestly not used to programming this big. I'm used to programming like back here. But I realize that not everyone is used to that either. So bool can jump. That's it. That's all. It's really just a, honestly. Except you don't, like, you know, can't jump. And then we go into ECS, include can jump. And now ignore these. We can go in here, ECS attach component, can jump entity. Yeah, exactly. Get component can jump. I do not need to get the component. Just make sure it initializes to false. And we can go down here. Now that it has can jump on it, we can do if player dot or if auto and bool can jump equals ECS get component can jump. And now we're just storing this. Oh, meant to do dot can't jump. How does apply force to center work? It just applies force to the center of the physics body. If you hover over any of these or like click on them, you'll actually see what they do. It just increases the force, and it just because it's applied to the center, it doesn't actually apply. So apply here, it applies torque at the point that you give it. So basically, if you apply force to the top middle of a circular box, of a, sorry, not a circular box, of a sphere or a circle, if you apply it to the top middle, it's gonna spin. That's how forces work. If I flick something in the center, it's going to move. If I flick it at the top, it's going to flip. So that's why you apply force to center. Like, so if I have something just sitting here, I flick it at the top, it's going to fall over. If I flick it at the center, it's possible that it'll just keep moving. If I flick it at the exact, like, center of mass. So, yeah. Technically, a jump is a force upwards. You're right, it should be get key down, though. But jump is a force upwards. It really should be a force in the end. Probably not this big of a force, though. Point is we now have can jump, so inside of our playground listener, we can do ECS get component can jump dot m can jump equals true. Sorry, you should be making this. If you do make it, it should be default. Should use fixture B. M can jump equals true. And then just set it up so that whenever you jump, actually really you want you really shouldn't be using this method to make jumps. The idea of what I'm showing you right now, like this is a throwaway. This is a throwaway class. You really shouldn't use this class. What you should do is integrate this with your player class. Because that would work better. And then we can just do can jump dot equals false. So now you can't jump. Now you won't be able to jump until you touch the ground again. Theoretically. I don't actually know if it's fully going to work. With the trigger. Well, it's not really a trigger. So this is just I'm detecting contact. That's all this is. This isn't using a trigger, actually. This is just detecting contact. This is me using the contact listener for what it's meant for, which is checking for specific types of contact. Clearly I need to add some more zeros. Let's add a 9. Interesting. Oh! Just realized gravity scale is still like ridiculous. Let's try editing this to like see what that looks like. Clearly. I figured it wouldn't work with that. It'll almost definitely work with 998. What I've found is just multiply it with Box2D, just multiply whatever force you want to apply, like the actual force that you want to apply, by 10. And you end up with a pretty good value. do 180. Because we're already using velocity anyways. Yeah, I was right. It doesn't actually do anything. Because that lasts for 1 frame. Well, the issue is no, Aiden. No, you cannot. You can't make an oval-shaped body without manually creating it. Because the way that circle-shaped bodies are represented is with I'm ignoring it if it's above 0, or if it's above 1. But now that we're not flying anymore, we don't need that. But yeah, now you can't jump in the air. I'm aware. Don't worry, Ricardo. I'm testing things out. That was a ternary operator that I was doing there. But yes, another thing today is that I do still have a class after this one as well. Yeah, I was right. Just gonna infinitely keep going. Apologies. Yeah, forces do like big numbers, but I'm just testing something. I'm trying to get an exact range more than anything. The forces like big numbers because that's how like forces work in general. So if I can get an exact range of numbers during the video, then I can end up with better, I can give better numbers to people. 40. That's what I'm trying to do. We passed. So between 16 and 32. So let's put a 20 there. So it's more than 20, 25. I'm just trying to make a jump that looks nice. That's all. The point is I set up the contact listener to I don't No. Like, a low number should be more than enough to counteract the force of gravity. Given that the force of gravity is like super low. What about... Because the force of gravity is only 98 right now. Linear impulse to center. Not triggers, no. No, not triggers. I'm using the contact listener, like I explained. I'm using the contact listener like it was made to be used. So what I recommended during the video is, I always mention what I've updated and what I've changed or what I've added. And I always recommend implementing those new changes into whatever your current build is. So this way you only have to change out, like, for example, the last one I changed physics body, physics system, and physics playground, and added physics playground listener. All you'd have to do to implement all of that is bring it into your project. I also changed ECS a little bit because I had to include trigger. See, because it includes trigger as well as, and that's it. But you just need to like pay attention to what has had changes in it, and I'll always say in the video when there's like changes, and I like to show them off in the beginning just to make sure that people know. See, I don't know why gravity isn't enough to pull the dude back down. You got no issue. It should be. Should be more than enough. But it ain't. 250. 220, I believe, was the... See, I'm interested why this isn't like... Why, because I know that this works. But because of the fact that we're now storing the old velocity, for some reason, this is never like going away. Which an impulse is only supposed to last a frame. Apply an impulse, this instantly modifies the velocity. It wakes up the body, it's an impulse. It instantly goes away after things are done. Apply linear impulse. It instantly goes away afterwards. That's the whole point. Instantaneously modifies the velocity. But if I do this, realistically, we really shouldn't even be doing this. Let's just try this. Try commenting that out and see what happens. Ah, I was right. It's this. It's completely ruining it all. Not high enough. Yeah, neither do I. It's kind of annoying. Well, I do know why, actually. It's because the velocity is never being overridden. So it's going to continue going up like that. Now I just need to create... Oh. So I was holding D. What do you mean, Joshua? Link looks like he's floating for you. Yeah, see right here, he doesn't have enough speed to overcome the force of gravity. That's, yeah, I was gonna say that's more than likely just a hitbox. Press T. How high up is the hitbox? He looks like he's floating here because his top is like, this one isn't perfectly cropped. So if you look here. And see, you can't jump in the air. You can only jump once you've hit the ground again. I can hit spam space all I want. Or only jump once you've hit the ground. The movements responses are pretty tight. They could be tighter if you increase the friction of the player. You can make them tighter. Time, speed. But we just make this 1 right now. Let me just run it. But yeah, now we've got like smooth, responsive movement. So we want this to be a bit larger. We don't actually care about S either right now, because we're making side scrollers. Though I will say, top down is just easier to make. Yeah. So what we also want to do is go up to link up here. Oh yeah, his friction set to 0.1. So if we do that like 1.5F. But yeah, it just... I just got disconnected from the internet. My apologies. Of course I did. Yeah, but my internet just went down, so... Oh, but yeah, sorry. I just remembered the video is still running. So I'm just messing around with the values now until I get something that feels good. It's what you really need to do. I'm currently offline, so like nothing's super working. Now, because of how high this is, it's very hard to go up it. Because the friction force affects your velocity, or it actually affects your raw force. So it ends up affecting your possible velocity. See? You'll notice I am still moving. Just not as fast. But yeah, and then you can jump. I'd like to increase the gravity though. Oh, am I gonna come back? Is it gonna let me reconnect? Hello there. My connection, my internet just died. And Ricardo, it can't have to do with, sorry, I'm catching up in the chat. I can't have to do with can jump. Specifically because can jump is just one boolean. It doesn't actually do anything. It's just an if statement. And it's false, so it'll only trigger once, and it stops it from triggering more than once. Thank you for calling me a great TA. I appreciate it. Isaac's gonna take over. He's far too precious. On the third day. But I continued recording, though. I never stopped the recording, but I continued messing with the values. Can't jump in the air. It's force-based. You can control yourself in the air. Now, because you have contact listeners, you can do something like this. This probably would have been nice. Oh, you right. You right. Completely forgot. Looks and feels nice. For a game, like for a character like Link, now if I were to change, like for example, if I were to go into, I don't know if that anyone from that team is here right now, but Nathan Moore, his group's assignment is with Sonic, and Sonic specifically uses this sort of movement, and it's very smooth. It's very like, it's made like Sonic is designed to work with it. So if you had like an animation that is meant to look like, yeah, exactly, momentum heavy. If you had an animation that was meant to look like this, the way that this one looks when you jump and everything. If you had like animations and stuff that complemented it, this movement style, it would look even better. But yes, this is how you create jumping that doesn't like actually let you jump in midair. This is actually how you do it with like Unity. This is how you do it with everything basically. You basically just check if it touched the ground. This is like how you're supposed to make jumping in games. You basically just checked, hey, has the player touched the ground? And one way we're gonna make this better is I figure we still got 10 minutes, might as well make it better. So if we go to physics body, we're gonna create a new one of these. Ground equals there you go. And then now that we have ground, we can go into the listener, check for ground instead. Big thing that we need to do is start marking our ground sprites. See, this is why I use zoomed out, because I like being able to see lines like this. Typically, you just do that, make it, well, the issue is right now, if I were to jump at that wall without destroying it, if I were to jump at a wall, an environmental object is a wall. If I were to jump at a wall and hit it on the side, I'd be able to jump again. So if you start making things like so if you make at the top of a wall on the top end of a wall, if you make it so on the top of a wall, you have another mini sprite that has the ground category, then you can still jump on top of the wall. But as for like right now, I do not want jumping on the walls. I want only jumping on the platforms that are like made for that. So there's only 3 of them. So right now, like if I were to like, I could disable the trigger and have it just delete the ball. If I go over here. Where did trigger? Oh, trigger down here. I'm dumb. But if I go into playground.h, make it ball, and delete this. Oh yeah, ball's not set up to interact with ground or environment. 1 second. The ball fell through the world. Would there be a way to classify the top specifically? Not without manually checking where the contact point was. So there are like, so if you can get, what is it? It's contact dot where is it? Get this checks if they're touching. This checks if they're enabled. Point is like this allows you to get like all the stuff. But I believe if you do, is it fixture dot, there's a way to get the contact points. Get is it manifold? It seems to be. Yeah, here it is. Get manifold dot. So it's the points that they're colliding at, I believe, is what this is. It's the contact manifold. So it's all the information about the contact. Like how they're contacting, how they're touching and stuff like that. But wait. So now ball's gonna get deleted when it enters the trigger. But I did that so I could show you can jump. You can jump, you can jump, you can jump. Dang it, I can't jump high enough to get on top of that. That's unfortunate. Ball's dead now. Ball should be dead. Ball, why aren't you dead? Interesting. I'll figure that out. As for right now, that's everything for today's tutorial. I'm gonna have to cut it short, just by like a few minutes. I have to go to the washroom, and I have a class right after this. So I have a class in less than 10 minutes. I honestly, Isaac, I don't know why that does that. Because I did that during the last video. And I have no idea why it was happening. But I'm going to look into it. I'm going to like look around online. I recommend you do the same. But anyways, I do got to get going. I do really have to go to the washroom. I will upload this video and I will link everyone. But yeah, bye to the video watcher.